out there, right? So as Dylan Hughes makes it look pretty easy. Now here we go with Castro and Sharifo for the final battle of the NOS FREDRIC Top 32. All right, let's see how this Fiorella, the Ferrari, chases down the Toyota Racing Toyota 86 of Jonathan Castro. You can see him coming into that second outside zone, the big long 180-degree turn. They come off it fairly early. Now into that inside clip. Good angle from them. Oh man, that GTB coming on home into that final outside zone. So both of them, yeah. I mean, again, I think that's the squirrels and the nuts and all the animals out here on track. Looking more like seals. It's wet.
Jonathan Castro, your lead driver here, initiates middle of outside zone 1. Here comes Federico. Starting to close it down, but Castro's back on it, pulls back away. Federico sees it, he adjusts, he gets off the line that he was on, following Castro, goes a little bit wide. Let's get to the next set.
All right, as we have our Toyota Racing driver, Jonathan Castro, send a shout out to Rutledge Wood. What up, Rut? I know you're out there calling the action in Nashville, covering NASCAR, multitasking. What's up, homeboy? Here we go, Federico Sharifo, Jonathan Castro. Oh, looks like we got a restart here. And Federico shutting her down. That's the good thing about the wet is tires. Not gonna really go through many. So hey, there's silver lining in every rainy cloud. I said, look at that. The tires are going through. We could keep all our tires. You go through one set. That's it.
This silver lining is kind of like, you know, the
aluminum lining,
cheap silver lining.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know. I think it's fake. It makes you. It's so silver it turns your fingers green. Is that what's up? Again, less than ideal conditions. Again, just all I need is a miracle. All I need is you. Right? That's what we need. So,
oh, you didn't respond to me when I texted you the other day with that Yacht Rock song?
I know, I saw that. I didn't. And Yama be there. I appreciate that.
I was going to baseball practice and it came on. I was like, oh, I got to send this to Jared.
Yeah, it was a little Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
This is my Michael McDonald impression. Give it away. That's all I got. That's all I got. Federico Sharifo. Up to throw down. See what kind of long hair pasta run we can get here, buddy. Come on, Federico Sharifo. Driving the Fiorella. Make it good. All right. As Federico pulls into that first outside zone, Castro taking a shallower line. He does gain a lot of speed, but taking a way shallower line. Let's see you kick out there, Castro. Now Federico comes out of that second outside zone. Third hash mark. And into that final outside zone. See the flames shooting out of the back of that Ferrari. Not the prettiest, but still got her done.
Well, tough on everybody. Hard to navigate through this course. Our final battle of the top 32. We've made it this far. Under the lights now, in the darkness. Still with some rain coming down. Federico Sharifo and Jonathan Castro. Sharifo leaving outside zone 2, coming around to this inside clip. Castro eyeing him up. Crossover here. Surges forward. What's it going to be?
All right, what do we got? Taking a look at the side-by-side, the BC Racing side-by-side. Instant replay, excuse me, BC Racing. The official suspension of Formula Drift Run.
Sharifo on the left in the lead, on the chase in the right. Castro, just the inverse. Who's going to take this battle here? Bit of a back and forth. Drivers looking for something that will differentiate one over the other. It's hard to kind of pick out whether or not there was something clear there. Castro may have had some greater proximity towards the end of the course. Is that enough to move it forward?
Rutledge brought up a great point, and everybody knows, you messed around sometimes when in the wet, in different vehicles like a Chevy Astro van or something like that. And here we go, slide him left for Castro, right for Federico Sharifo. It looks like Federico gets the win, and Lantain going championship. Denofa out front, Sorensen chasing him down. And there we go, Chelsea Denofa bringing it into the wet. You got to think him living up in the PDX, talking about Portland. He's got his school drift where he teaches a lot of kids in the wet, and there goes Denofa. You got to think from his first run against LZ, he's going to change that setup up.
Right there.
Yeah, look at that. Sorensen right in the mix, that 212 BMW into that final outer zone. Oh, slow motion with me. Slow motion for me. There we go. Brings it across. That got a little hairy, Ryan.
So Denofa looking to continue the momentum so far this season. Brandon Sorensen wants to change things up and knock him out in the top 16. He came up a little bit tight there after that transition to outside zone 2. But here's Denofa. Look at that, fully locked. And this is where Sorensen really, I think, made a good impression in front of everybody as he rips right through that inside clip with Denofa. But Denofa out front, really not missing a step here at all. It's just that Sorensen is having a good chase as well. Great battle there for the first one in the top 16. Let's switch it up. Brandon Sorensen versus Chelsea Denofa. Denofa going to that chase position, something that he is infamous or famous for, however you want to word it. But in these conditions, much different approach.
Got it. Yeah, yep. All right, here we go. So Brandon Sorensen out front, Chelsea Denofa in that chase position. Let's see how Sorensen does out front with the clean air, not getting the spritz in his face. Now changing it back into that second outer zone. Big angle there from Sorensen, looking fairly similar to what Chelsea did on that second outer zone. Ooh, looks like losing some parts, but Sorensen hanging in that outside zone. Ooh, overshoots that front clip. And now into that final outer zone. Sorensen gaining a lot of wows from these guys. Some contact made between Chelsea and Sorensen.
It looks like he may not have had control through the finish line. We'll get a closer look at that. But we've seen 2 incidents, possibly a third, of drivers not having control through the finish line here in these wet conditions. Let's take a look at that, as well as the action leading up to that moment. Very deep into that outside zone is Brandon Sorensen, but look at Denofa. He's opting to stay on the line with Sorensen through the last quarter of that turn, and that is something that judges really want to see. They don't want to see you cut the line to gain proximity unless that's a sacrifice that you want to make. A little bit of a flub there by Denofa. Watch the front wheels right here. Can't see from that angle whether or not there was contact, but there was no, it didn't seem like there was movement in the vehicle.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw contact either.
But all of a sudden you saw the wheels of Brandon Sorensen kind of angle up across the finish line. So we're probably gonna have to get another look at that. I don't think the drone is out because of the rain coming down. So going to be reliant upon the 3 cameras that we do have out on course. Oh, wow.
All right, slide him left for Denofa, right for Sorensen. It looks like Chelsea Denofa will get the win. Chelsea Denofa with the win.
So I got to imagine the judges.
And here we go for the second battle of this top 16. Who's going against Denofa in the Great 8? Let's find out again. Hopefully get some sort of dry conditions throughout the night. Maybe it'll be even in just the finals. Regardless, let's keep them going. Send it, fellas. Ryan Turk, Simon Olsen coming to that first outside zone. Look at Simon. Not backing down whatsoever. Ryan Turk, that come out Toyota Racing Corolla hatchback. Getting all the way out to that line. Look at that, flirting with the edge of the track. Simon Olsen mimicking the angle. Not as deep, but definitely keeping proximity. Like that line from Olsen. Looks like Turk gripping up, getting some traction. And out to that outside zone, and Simon Olsen not part of the equation on that last outside zone, Ryan.
Yeah, let's take a look at this again. Ryan Turk getting through Taylor Hull in the battle of the top 32. Starting to approach that outside zone with a bit more speed, it seems like. Understanding what to do after those sight laps. Olsen is keeping the pressure on here. And he's trying to stay on that line with Turk. A little bit of rubbing there, leaving outside zone number 2. Getting into this inside clip, we've seen a lot of sketchy moves there, and this is where Olsen falls back. He had a bit too much angle, didn't grip up, and almost straightens up, or maybe straightened up there prior to outside zone number 3. So Ryan Turk now will go to the chase position, and Simon Olsen to the lead. Second battle in the top 16. Who's going to be moving on to face Chelsea DeNova?
All right, Simon Olsen will lead. Ryan Turk giving chase, and that will be a restart. So Simon Olsen, I assume, hitting a cone.
You see that light?
Yeah, I see it. Blinded by the light.
Bright enough?
Blinded by the light. Have to restart my Supra in the middle of the night. Go, Larry. Larry Chen for the win. Yeah, buddy, you did it. You did it, Larry. You're the best around.
You're the best.
Yeah, shouting them out. Shout at the devil. All right, Julian and Julia, what's up? Send a shout out to Brady. There you go. Thanks for sticking around, you hardcore fans. How are we doing out there at Jersey? Thank you guys and gals for sticking around. You waterlogged. And here we go. Simon Olsen out front, Ryan Turk in that chase position. Underneath the tower of power into that first outside zone. Olsen now into the second outside zone. 180-degree turn. Full pull Olsen. And you can see Ryan Turk shortening up the line, but keeping that proximity. Now drops that back Nitto tire into the outside zone. And it looks like Simon Olsen takes out the clip. Ryan Turk taking even a shallower line than that. Man, they are standing on that thing. They zip tie that gas pedal down.
Well, Ryan Turk definitely maintained proximity for a longer duration of time, but it didn't come with mistakes. There were some mistakes there, and it was some adjustments in angle. It was trying not to hit Simon. So the judges have a really tough task here of balancing these mistakes versus the aggressive nature of driving. Were they following the line of the lead driver? This is where Turk kind of angles down a little bit. You can see he's trying to stay on the same line with Simon, who does tap that inside clip, and then Turk kind of gets stuck behind him there on that transition. He has to take a tighter line as well. And you can really see that rear end kind of bouncing up and down as he makes those adjustments. So both runs in the books now. Let's go to the judges for the result.
All right. What do we got here? Side by side coming. Really analyze the run here between Olsen and Turk. Our sight laps being taken by our current points leader. This is Odie Bakshis and Matt Field, the frenemies, 1 and 2 in the championship. About to throw down. Still awaiting the outcome of Turk and Olsen. Side by side being loaded up. The BC Racing side by side instant replay. BC Racing official suspension of Formula Drift. BC Racing go for the gold. Odie Bakshis taking his sight lap just because conditions ever changing here. Just the level of moisture from biblical to just a little spritz. And here comes Matt Field on his sight lap. And there it is. And here's our side-by-side instant replay. Simon Olsen leading on the right, Ryan Turk leading on the left. Ryan.
So clearly the judges wanting to take a deeper look here. Both runs to me pretty similar up to this point. Olsen may have had stronger angle on that last little section of outside zone 2, but look, then he falls off from Turk. And the proximity may be the factor there, even though Turk had some adjustments to make. I think the drivers would rather see you make aggressive mistakes, small mistakes, and keep proximity than to not be in the fight at all. And even though it was for a short period of time, it may be enough for Ryan Turk.
All right, what do we got here? Slide him left for Turk, right for Olsen. It looks like Ryan Turk gets the vote from 2 and 3 judges. Ryan Turk gets the win, knocking out Simon Olsen. And Turk does get the win. And we are ready for currently 1 and 2, so shaking up the points. Odie Bakshis will lead. And Matt Field
Frenemies keep coming together,
Dude,
huh?
the frenemies meeting up all the time.
Yeah, they love hanging out.
The Royal Purple top 16. Here we go, fellas. Odie leading. Matt Field giving chase. Here we go. Odie going into that first outside zone. Matt Field coming in. Let's see how he handled this. Good proximity from both of them. Oh, look at that. Matt Field giving, absolutely mimicking the angle.
We go.
Good angle. Nice job from both the Falcon Tire drivers. Wrapping it around that front inside clip. Odie gripping up. You can see him pulling away from Matt Field. Solid job by both these drivers. That could have been the best tandem we've seen in the wet, Ryan.
All right.
So again, 1 and 2 in points. Only 2 rounds in, and Odie and Field 1 and 2.
Trying to stretch things out here with Vaughn going out early. Just Denofa, Field, and Bakshis in the top 3. And Bakshis, long e-brake pull into that first outside zone, trying to get settled here. Nice adjustment by Matt Field. You know they're comfortable driving together. Look at that surge forward from Matt Field. Massive angle, but staying on the same line as Odie Bakshis. Really impressive here. Swinging around that inside clip, no touch from either driver. Smooth transition back around. That's how you do it, folks. Great bit of driving there by Odie Bakshis, and equally as impressive in the chase by Matt Field.
All right, let's see what Matt Field has out front. The Beast from the Bay. The yellow lights are on. Let's see if it helps his vision in the wet. Again, seeing some dry spots out here. Woo, look at that initiation by Odie Bakshis. Right to the door of Matt Field. Now coming to that second outside zone. You can see Matt Field deep, Odie taking a shallower line. See if he can work it out there. And Odie, great proximity from him. Oh, taking out that front clip. Actually, Matt Field just did nick it with that front left. Oh man, Matt Field risking it for the biscuit. Nice job by him, and allows Odie to get up close and personal with him. So some great driving between these 2 drivers.
Well, it just seems like Matt Field may have had a bit more of a complete run here, even though this is super impressive from Odie Bakshis. You can see he's on a little bit of a tighter line, a little bit less angle. Field was door to door, same angle on that same part of the run. Coming through that inside clip, remember neither driver hit that inside clip. On this section here, you can see that little tap by Field, and then Odie runs it over. And it looks like the scores are already coming in. What's it gonna be? Matt Field or Odie Bakshis?
Slide him left for Odie, right for Matt Field, and look at this. Oh man, Matt Field takes out our current points leader, shaking things up. Oh, he gets one back in a major way, because that means Odie going out early in the 16. That shakes up the points and the point standings. Like I said, he was under. KEARNEY will chase down Dai Yoshihara. Dai Yoshihara leading. And that Subaru BRZ turbocharged LS coming to that outside zone. Whoa, you see contact, or we just get a little weird there? All right, so as Dai Yoshihara fills that second outside zone, and Dean KEARNEY now drops in. Let's see how they handle the slow front clip. Dean KEARNEY just knocks it over. Uh-oh. That big SRT-10 Dodge Viper coming to the side of the BRZ. Let's take a look at the different perspectives here, Ryan.
Well, Jared, your keen eye caught something on initiation. Let's see if we can find out what it was. Dean surging forward here. May have had that doesn't look like any rubbing marks there, but it does cause him to kind of get a little bit off kilter. There was a little bit of a straightening there on the transition into the second outside zone. Dean being aggressive now, but Dye is very deep into that second outside zone. Good fluidity by Dye. He's kind of keeping it smooth. He's not chopping up the course. You don't really see him noticeably throttle on, throttle off. And we got to catch the second half of that run, but
yeah. That was weird. Just Dai Yoshihara on the initiation just kind of had like a abrupt correction, excuse me. Corruption and correction if you want. Dean Carnage Carney, like I said, changing out his gearbox during that halftime break. But I'm seeing the lights go off and on. Hopefully he's 100%. See if he pulls around to the start line around this Raceway Park. We are getting the drone shot, so that is good. Again, the drone only can fly in dry conditions, so no rain is coming down, but the rain still sits. We got puddles on the track. All of a sudden I'm thinking of the, is that song Blind Melon? Is that it? All I could say. Here we go as Dean Carnage Carney and Dai Yoshihara. Dean Carney dropping that back left tire, and next tire coming now into that second long outer zone. Dai Yoshihara taking a shallower line, and Dean all the way out there. The turn 14 Falcon tire BRZ gets to the side of the big long Dodge Viper. Now to that final outside zone. And coming across. Oh!
Well, I was going to say, Dean looks much more comfortable in the lead position, especially on this battle. But this is the fourth occurrence that we've seen where a driver looks like they have not maintained control through that final portion of the run. That white line there indicating the finish line. Let's go back and take a look at it. This time,
the drone's
Dean
gonna be
comes
indicated.
rocketing out of the start line. Pretty smooth on that initiation. You can see Dai is way on the inside here, so Dean is kind of picking up some advantages that he may have lost on his chase run. Dai kind of moving around. It just seems so much more difficult in chase position to get settled. And you can see the smoothness of Dean pretty apparent here. Well, let's take a look at this final corner. Right at the edge of outside zone 3. Oh, he starts angling up here and right there. And then actually Dai makes contact with him.
Yeah, it looked like Dai, that front left, when it goes tire to tire, wheel to wheel, it can just so quickly grab, you know, rubber on rubber or just the wheel on wheel, the spokes, just throw it in.
And so for the judges, you know, I feel like Dean would have made that, but, you know, this is what the judges are really used for, is these really controversial happenings.
Burning that wet rubber. Mickey Mattis enjoying it as Michael Essa. And scores are in, Ryan. So look at that. Dai Yoshihara, Dean Carnage Carney, and Lontaine, I'm going to go to you, actually, if you could. Yeah, let's please confirm. So Dean Carney says he likes the rain. Keep it coming. I can't stand the rain. Well, what do you got, Lontaine? I cannot just yet, but I'm going to turn you on. Here we go.
It sounds like you can hear me now.
Yes.
All right. In that situation, the drone was extremely helpful. Watching from straight above, you could see that Dai Yoshihara got right on the inside. He was running a tighter line, and that is the risk of running that tighter line. Like I said earlier, you have more grip, and also you're running a shorter line, essentially, so you catch up to that lead car. And in this case, it looks like Dai made contact with Dean right at the finish line, wheel to wheel, on that inside wheel, which, you know, can act as a pivot if that front right wheel gets kind of slowed down and the car just rotates around it. So unfortunately, we had to side with Dean in this case because it looks like Dai did do that and caused the spin.
All right, so Dean Carnage Carney gets the win. We are officially halfway through our Royal Purple Top 16. And we move on to Chris Forsberg and Michael Essa. Doylestown, Pennsylvania and Los Angeles. being repped here. Forsberg, 3-time champion Michael Essa, 1-time champion. And here we go, Forsberg versus Essa. And yeah, here is the history. 17 years of champions. You could see, as Ryan, you said earlier, there's only 2 3-time champions. James Dean, that was 17 through 19. Forsberg broke it up a little bit with his first championship in 09, 14, then 16. Most recently, Vaughn Gittin Jr. 10 years between his 2 championships. FREDRIC AASBO back there in 2015, then 2013. It was a pretty interesting year how that culminated in Irwindale. But TAGUCHI back in 2011, and then of course prior to that you had Tanner Faust, Reese Milne, Sam Houbinet, first ever Formula Drift champion. All right, Michael Essa, Chris Forsberg. Essa will lead. Essa qualifying 15th, Forsberg qualifying 31st. And Michael Essa, FCP Euro Liquid Moly BMW. Looks like got a clean start. And here we go. Essa had a lot of grip on his first run. Let's see how he handles it here coming to that first outer zone. Essa using all the core skids all the way out to that white line inside that outer zone. There you go. Looks like Forsberg drops in, pulls out a little bit, as does Essa. Now coming into this inside clip. Both of them bringing it around. Forsberg just knocking it over. Now into this final outside zone. There goes Essa. Forsberg taking a way shallower line, and it almost comes to a halt right before that finish line. Things are getting hairy there, Ryan, right near the finish line.
Well, Forsberg doing damage early, taking out JTP, number 3 in points at the current moment, trying to do the same thing against Michael Essa, but Essa looking solid in the rain here. This is what you like to see, though. A lead driver, deep part of the zone, and Forsberg trying to match that angle and line, moving where that lead car goes. Flying through this inside clip, or crawling through the inside clip, rather. We see the final approach here where you said that Chris did not get as deep as Michael Essa in that section there, and that is true. He got in a lot later than he should have. Tried to get into the zone a little bit earlier. As we take a look, we're on board here with Dean Kearney, who advanced on into the Grade 8. He will be facing Matt Field.
Assessing that contact.
Yeah, assessing what's going on. Saying, hey, you gonna work?
Yeah, banging on, get the race hammer out. Get the race hammer out and throw it down.
Second run here, Chris Forsberg goes to the lead, Michael Essa to the chase run. Battle of the champions, as we'll find out who's gonna move on into the Grade 8.
Yeah, and with Forsberg and Essa, they will go against either Alec Robbins or Kazuya Taguchi. Chris Forsberg leading the NOS Energy Drink Nissan 370Z, coming into that outer zone. See how deep he is. Michael Essa right there. Now coming through, look at that. Whoa, look at Michael Essa taking a way shallower line. And that's what Lantain was talking about earlier. When you take a shallower line, you're gonna get grip, and Michael Essa spins out, handing it to Forsberg as long as he maintains and continues on his pace. Chris Forsberg crosses the finish line, and Chris Forsberg gets the win in his NOS Energy Drink Nissan 370Z. An unfortunate turn of events for Michael Essa.
Yeah, and Jared, that seemed to be brewing right after the initiation, heading into outside zone number 2. Something got a little bit wonky there for Michael Essa. Let's see if we can pick up on it. It ultimately led to a spin in outside zone number 2, but it seemed like it started happening prior to that, where Essa was on a really tight line and then kind of got to a pinch point where he didn't really have anywhere to go.
All right, so as we take a look at this again here, Ryan, walk us through where, see that, I see it gripped up, shot in.
He kind of just transitioned early, and that may be, as you said, because he kind of gripped up in that area as the rain has been intermittent. And that put him on a tighter line, and then he just got a little bit too far off in outside zone 2, it looks like. But whatever the result, it was a spin. And I do think the judges want to verify and look at it one more time. That's at least what I see so far. as we see our next two drivers head on out.
Yeah, Kazuya Taguchi. He's got that that ISR on the vehicle and up garage.
So here it is. This is from the pink house. Essa looks like he just, yeah, it looks like he may have just transitioned at the wrong place or a little bit early, and then he gets pinched off here. And now he's kind of having to restart the whole thing. And as he gets back on the throttle, it just looks like he got kind of wasn't able to hang on there. So I'm not sure if I'm missing something, if the judges are seeing, if they just wanted to take a deeper look at it, but that's what it looks like to me.
I think I just want to make sure FORSBERG didn't park him. You know, basically the momentum zones, you know, where you're allowed to brake, where you're allowed to slow down, or where your momentum carries you through.
Yeah.
All right, so we still have yet to see a verdict from FORSBERG and Essa. And like we said, Alec Robbins and Kazuya Taguchi. Robbins qualifying 26th, Taguchi qualifying 10th. So Taguchi will lead this next battle. And we got 3 more battles left here in the Royal Purple Top 16. Robbins heads back underneath to the start line. Kazuya Taguchi up garage ISR 86. Already on the start line.
One judge left to go, and it looks like he's in. Here we go.
Slide him left for FORSBERG, right for Michael Essa. And there we go. 1 for FORSBERG and 2 for FORSBERG. And finally, look at
wow.
that. Is that correct?
Tell us about that.
All right. That is Chris Ewell.
So split decision, first one.
Split decision, 3, not first one. Okay, all right.
Yeah, let's bring in Chris
Hey,
real quick.
let's bring in Chris real quick as hey Chris, justification of going Essa.
Yeah, I felt like FORSBERG straightened across the middle. So then I reverted to, so there was 2 zeros and I reverted to the first pass where Essa had a stronger lead and FORSBERG missed outer 3.
All right, well, outnumbered unfortunately for your outcome, but again, just seeing the different perspectives here. Thank you, Chris Ewell. Here we go, Kazuya Taguchi and Alec Robbins. Kazuya Taguchi will lead up garage ISR 86, Royal Purple Top 16. Alec Robbins about to put it down. See the Type S lights underneath the vehicles. And here comes Kazuya Taguchi in that lead position, filling all that zone. Nice job by Kazuya. Bit of a shallow angle there from actually both the drivers, excuse me. And now into the outer zone. Look at Alec Robbins. Yeah, being from Minnesota, he's got the snow, he's got the wet, and now he's got the good chase run. Past that inside clip, Kazuya Taguchi, flames shooting out of the hood, and unfortunately Robbins takes a shallower line there, but I liked what I saw up until that point from Robbins in the chase, but Kazuya looks great up front as well.
Yeah, he got a great jump. Gets into the deeper part of outside zone 1. Robbins right here on the transition. See the front wheels area has a little bit of a flub. We see some drivers challenged with that, locking in a smooth transition there, but then he gets it back and he really lays into Taguchi here, keeping that pressure on around the last part of that outside zone, almost the middle part of that outside zone number 2. Much better transition on this side, but still comes up a little bit tight there. Gains proximity, but sacrifices the line as Taguchi seems comfortable in the rain. Let's switch it up. Robbins goes to the lead. Taguchi to the chase position for the win here in the top 16, filling the bracket up quickly.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be?
All right, coming through it. Here goes Robbins and Taguchi. 2 more battles after this, which is FREDRIC AASBO, Dylan Hughes, and you got Travis Reeder and Federico Sharifo. And here goes Kazuya Taguchi. He'll be chasing down Alec Robbins. And Alec Robbins coming down in the Passetto Nissan 350Z from Becker, Minnesota. And here comes Robbins. Definitely an aggressive driver last year, tempering the flame, literally cooling it down here in the wet. but still phenomenal placement of that Nissan Z. And here goes, look at that, just hangs it out to dry. And then around that front clip, you can see Kazuya Taguchi taking out that front clip. Oh, and then Robbins once again, so even in the lead position, takes that shallow line, just having a tough time, maybe a little nerve-wracking looking at that wall and trying to throw it in.
Second run here, Robbins leading this time around. Taguchi keeping the pressure on. Look at that right there. But Robbins not afraid, pushes out wide and early into outside zone 2. But Taguchi is trying to stick on that same line. He's got almost equal angle there. Not as deep, but he's a little bit tighter. And that's why this happens. Center punches that inside clip. And once he center punches it, watch the front wheels there. The transition was a little bit weak, but Robbins also doesn't get to that third outside zone. So some mistakes here to be measured across the 2 runs to find out who's going to move on into the grade 8.
Yeah, both these guys had some major mistakes there, Ryan. Like you said, Alec and Kazuya, they had their kind of own independent mistakes from that front clip into that final last outer zone. And the scores are in that quick. Slide them left for Robbins, right for Kazuya Taguchi. And it looks like Kazuya Taguchi gets the win unanimously. Alec Robbins knocked out, so Taguchi gets the win. And will it? I just look over at you.
This is the DJ way.
Yeah, he looks sick, bro. He looks really cool. He looks so cool. FREDRIC AASBO, Dylan Hughes coming down. Both these guys driving phenomenal in the wet, and we talked about that gearing being changed in that Toyota Supra of FREDRIC AASBO. But Dylan Hughes with the drying out conditions. And, oh man, are we seeing? No, it looks like just some spritz up in the air, a little spritz as FREDRIC AASBO comes through. Ooh, some little correction as he straight kind of beelines it towards that front clip. And now coming into that final outside zone, AASBO and Hughes. Let's take a look at this again. Just still thinking about how you're wearing your headset, so threw me off.
Dylan Hughes not fazed by the transmission change here, saying yeah, so. As we see AASBO, let's take a look at what you called out here, Jared. AASBO going deep into that outside zone, but Hughes not letting him run away. Coming off outside zone 2. There's a little adjustment from AASBO. Still keeping angle in the car though, but right there, yeah, a little bit of a weak transition. You'd like to see it go all the way to lock. Here it is from the other side. And he's able to pull a little bit of a gap on Hughes by doing that. So the judges will take a close look. Hughes and AASBO both looking extremely comfortable in the rain. Let's switch it up.
All right, so here goes D. Hughes out front, the Permatex BMW, FREDRIC AASBO and his Rockstar energy drink, Toyota GR Supra, and awaiting track setup. All right, looks like it's dialed. Thank you to our Formula Drift staff. All right, so here we go with Dylan Hughes out front. You see Freddie jump to light, which is allowed. We got a clean start. Who's moving on? Oh, our second to last battle, little hippie shake, little shimmy shake there into that first outer zone. Now into the second.
Oh,
look
boy.
at Osbo lunging up. Dylan Hughes getting all of it, throwing it all the way in. Look at that tap in the cones. Oh man, Osbo applying the pressure. Wow. Yeah, great job by both the drivers so far. Let's see how they handle this. Into that final outer zone goes Dylan Hughes all the way out there, just on the edge of the course, taking out that finish line cone. Man, I got to tell you, Dylan Hughes had a great lead run, but FREDRIC AASBO right there.
Yeah, loving this battle here. Both drivers trading blows, going deep into the rounds as Dylan Hughes takes the lead really fast out of the gate. Seems like the drivers are picking up a little bit more speed here. AASBO super close and tight to Dylan Hughes through a majority of that second outside zone. As they hit that inside clip, AASBO just navigates around it, tucks up on the inside here. Let's see what line he uses, and he does do a good job keeping close to Dylan while trying to mirror that line AASBO did have that little kind of weak transition after inside clip 1 on his lead run. Let's take a look at the side by side here. What do you guys pick up at home? What are you seeing there? Both drivers getting outside zone 1 pretty good. Equal proximity here, Dylan, with a little bit less angle there. And then as AASBO leaves this zone on his lead run, this is kind of what you called out here, Jared, that little adjustment, and then right here, kind of not really that much angle through that section of the course. It allows him to kind of get a little bit of a gap on Dylan, so it'll be interesting to see how the judges interpret that. Run is finished, both in the books. Very competitive here. Who's it going to be? Dylan Hughes, who seems to be gaining some momentum overall.
And FREDRIC AASBO coming into this round of competition 6th in points. All right.
Okay.
Scores are up. Slide them left for AASBO, right for Dylan Hughes. And look at this. Dylan Hughes gets 1 and a 1 more time. And finally, Chris Yule says, 1 more time. So an OMT.
Who was it?
What is that? What do you mean? Who?
Eggert.
What? Sopa Europa. Keep it clean. Travis Reeder, that Link Engine Management BMW. Coming down into that first outside zone. You can see Fetty chasing down Reeder. Reeder with a great degree of angle into that big outside zone. Gets all the way out there once again. Tell you what, these BMW boys, Hughes and Reeder with their BMWs, massive angle. They're throwing it down. Look at that separation here between Reeder and Fetty. Now Fetty brings it on home. Reeder scrubs a lot of speed approaching that finish line run.
Yeah, Reeder looked very settled that last run, but had an aggressive tone to it as well. This time around, he's challenging Federico, who's got that win, into the top 16. This is for the grade 8. Reeder pretty deep into that outside zone, but Fede not letting him get away too far. Reeder a slight adjustment with those front wheels. Good angle leaving outside zone 2. But Fede kind of misses that opportunity to stay on that same line. He falls back here, but Reeder gets into the zone late as well. Second half of the battle underway as now we switch things up with Federico Sharifo going to the lead and Travis Reeder now in the chase position.
All right. Here we go, Fetty. Am I seeing rain come down again?
Yeah, at least you want to get sprinkled out.
Yeah, just a little spritz, just a little dab will do. You can see the puddles there and right in front of the headlights. Just the mist continuously coming down, so I don't think we'll see any dry conditions here this evening, just not drying out. But these guys still going for it. Federico Sharifo into that outside zone. Travis Reeder taking a shot of the line. No, got the proximity, but we need the angle, Reeder. Where you at? Oh, and Fetty scrubs some speed. Travis almost gets in the side of that Ferrari. Now into that second outside zone. Coming all the way through past that inside clip. So Travis Reeder kind of struggling here in the chase position. Ooh. Are they bashing doors, bashing wheels?
Looked like there was a little bit of rubbing there.
And unfortunately, I believe the drone won't be up because of that spritz.
Second half of the battle here, Fede nice and deep into that first outside zone with good angle coming off. It looks like Reeder did not anticipate the line. Has to back off and then surge back in. Federico and Reeder doing battle here. You can see both drivers trying to get that balance between the forward grip. Oh, there's one little tap. Looks like there's another one right there through the finish line. No harm, no foul looks like for Federico. And a fist pump in the background. Here it is, final section. Reeder diving in, little bump there. That causes him to stay on a tighter line. So things getting a bit aggressive here in the top 16. Both drivers really wanting to move on. Federico already making it into the top 16 for the first time. Very excited, and Travis Reeder wanting to continue to grow his program. Qualified 6th here this weekend, the side-by-side. Federico, Reeder. Fede, I really like that approach on the first outside zone. We saw that little bit of kind of a pop and stop move there from Fede right before outside zone 2, try to get rebalanced. Really aggressive here from Reeder in the chase, just taps that inside clip. But back around, he takes that tighter line and makes contact with Fede. While in the lead, he got a little bit of a gap there towards the end.
All right. Are we going to see a victor here between Reeder and Fede? Remember, we have the one more time battle of Dylan Hughes and FREDRIC AASBO. Already in the grade 8. Again, Denofa versus Turk, Field versus KEARNEY. We have that of FORSBERG versus Taguchi, and it looks like Travis Reeder will get the win. Reeder advances on into the grade 8. So again, FORSBERG versus Taguchi, Reeder versus either AASBO. Get out Toyota USA on social media. FREDRIC AASBO, that Rockstar energy drink. Toyota GR Supra. Dylan Hughes, that Permatex GT Radial. BMW into that first outside zone. Works it into the second. You can see FREDRIC going a little deeper than Dylan Hughes, but he still does mimic that angle. Look at the proximity from Dylan Hughes. Here comes FREDRIC AASBO on that inside clip. Both of them just wrapping around it nice and clean. Very tidy. Clinical by both the drivers now into that final outside zone. Proximity, getting it, rubbing it. And there you go. So now we will see Dylan Hughes lead. Ryan, let's look at it again though.
For a berth into the grade 8, FREDRIC AASBO right now, currently 6th in points. He's shooting for a championship every year, but Dylan Hughes is coming into his own, having just absolutely exploded onto the scene in a lot of different ways. These guys, even in the wet conditions, are pushing as hard as they possibly can. Look at FREDRIC AASBO in that deep angle there on that line. But Dylan Hughes matching it, staying away from that inside clip. Feathering the throttle, the clutch, everything that it takes to keep consistent against FREDRIC AASBO, the 2015 Formula Drift champion. One run done in the books. AASBO now goes to the chase, and Dylan Hughes, wanting to continue this progression, will take the lead.
Dylan Hughes out front, Permatex, fast orange BMW. He's on GT radials. Let's see how he goes, initiating. Really gets all the way out there, actually just exceeds that track line just a little bit. Now Dylan Hughes, look at that angle from him, but FREDRIC AASBO jumps right to the side of him. That's exactly what he needed to do, and look at Dylan gripping. Oh, comes out of drift a little bit, has a small little bobble and a mistake. Could definitely make up for it here in this last outside zone, using all of the track and taking out that finish line cone. Ryan, I believe we don't have the drone because of the spritzing, unfortunately.
Well, another great battle at hand here. Dylan Hughes just looking flawless in that outside zone. AASBO, great transition back around, right in the pocket here. And as Dylan is going super deep into that zone, AASBO is matching and mirroring him pretty much all the way around. We see a little fall off there, but then Hughes almost goes offline, has to make that adjustment. AASBO as well, a tiny little perturbation in the wheels, but then readjusts, pops right back in line. Is this more clear for the judges? This is coming off of one more time where they were very, very close to each other. Trying to find out who's going to move on into the grade 8. Oh, and the scores are in quickly.
Scores are in. That was pretty quick, Ryan. Slide him left for FREDRIC AASBO, right for Dylan Hughes, and there it is. FREDRIC AASBO gets the win. FREDRIC AASBO gets the win and advances on. Ryan Lontano, if you could throw on your headset here and just elaborate again, for clarification. FREDRIC AASBO gets the win, and we are continuing on the side lap. So here we go. Denofa and Turk, our first battle of the grade 8. All right, here comes that BC Racing Nitto tire. Both these guys on Nitto tire. Speaking of those, into that first outside zone. Getting that long shot, filling all of that first outside zone, and then into the second. There goes Denofa. Again, most recent winner, like you said, undefeated all the way from Orlando. kicking things off, our #1 qualifier, making it a perfect event. Look at Ryan Turk right there. Looks like he's going to left punch that front inside clip. And now into that final. Oh, and that. I hope we have a drone.
We do have a drone.
I hope we have a drone.
Did you see the shot come up?
Yeah. Yeah.
5th occurrence at the finish line.
Right? This is what's up. This is what's up, dog.
Well, both drivers really get out aggressively, and even though the course is changing, you are seeing like that right there, transitioning at the same time. These drivers are becoming increasingly more confident, and it's giving us a better show. But as Ryan Turk dives in here, looking very aggressive, he's going to come up a little bit tight on that inside clip. And let's take a look at what happens here, because this is where everything boils to.
Oh, boy.
Kind of looked like Denofa was in the process.
Kind of looked like Denofa was going to spin.
Yeah. Let's get it again, because that's a strong one.
Yeah, that looked like Denofa was going to spin, and then he just happened to be there, so Turk ran into him.
Yeah.
Getting some clarification here from the spotters. Our racing officials finding out what's going on.
Let's take a look at it again here. Let's take a look at Denofa's front 2 wheels. Yeah, it does look like he was in the process, and then Turk hits him, not the other way around. If that's the case, if the judges think that, that would be an incomplete for Chelsea Denofa on his lead run.
That would also mean, in regards to competition timeouts, that Ryan Turk could put hands on the vehicle without utilizing the competition timeout. But if Chelsea Denofa needed to use one, he would use his competition timeout. But we have not deemed fault.
Chelsea was at fault.
Okay.
Turk's guys just said, it's good. We just need to pop the grill out and fix it. We just did.
All right. Look at this, going right back at it, baby. So Chelsea Denofa was at fault. Turk said the car is fine, so they're going to go purely aesthetic, and they're going to go right back at it.
So that does mean Chelsea Denofa has an incomplete. So really, Ryan Turk is in a strong position here, because he is now the lead driver. Nothing out in front of him. We know that Denofa
Except
will
a
put
busted grill.
Yeah. We know that Denofa will for sure put the pressure on. But this is probably an easier position to be in, dictating the pace here for Ryan Turk.
All right, Ryan Turk getting the clean, wet air out front. That Gum Out Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback, being chased down by the Gold Nose. And the RTR signature lights, RTR ready to rock for a new generation of Ford tuning. And here we go. Let's see how they handle this. You saw Chelsea Denofa kind of pedal back a little bit. Looks like he's got the grip in the car. As Ryan Turk look at Chelsea. Oh, buddy.
What was the over/under on that happening?
I mean, we all knew it was going to go down. We all knew it was going to go down. He's got the incomplete. He's gonna try to stick it to the door of Ryan Turk. And yeah, so. Yeah, unfortunately.
He had to do it.
Yeah, he had to do it. He had to risk it, but unfortunately, it just did not pay off for Denofa. So with, him coming in 3rd in points, he was undefeated up until this point from Orlando, all of Orlando, #1 qualifier, and wins the event.
Watch, see, he's diving in already. He kind of takes that straight line approach to get angle in the car. Turk's floating out, and then there's a first little contact made there, and then the second. So.
Well, he took a shallower line, too,
yeah.
So he's gripping up. Lantain was talking about that when you take that shallower line as opposed to, ducking back and being tucked in. So, yeah. So we will find out and make it official. Make sure the scores are in. And who's going to the final 4? Slide left for Denofa, right for Ryan Turk, and it looks like the 411, the info and the communique is Ryan Turk gets the win. Ryan Turk and his Gum Out Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback gets the win and advances on into the final 4.
Well, all of this is good news for Matt. Where did Matt Field qualify?
13th.
13th, and Kearney came in at number 12, so that's why Kearney is the lead driver up first. Matt Field has the momentum on his side, but Kearney is building pretty strong this year.
Yep.
Even after a lot of challenges and tribulations in Orlando, he's been making it far in competition, looking strong in that beast of a Viper. Here we go.
All right. Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper coming into that outside zone. Oh, and that looked absolutely independent, saving the vehicles from the contact, and that will definitely hurt Dean Carnage Kearney.
Well, I guess I don't want to say that it's expected, but we know that drivers are going to continue to push the limits as we get closer to the finals, and it's always possible that we will see these independent mistakes. That looks like a pretty clear case of Dean just pushing a little bit past the threshold there and giving Matt Field an early advantage. Let's take a look at the initiation. He kind of locks it up with the e-brake, gets on, and then he had a bit too much angle in the vehicle. Matt sees it. He also induces a spin there to save the vehicle. But yeah, right out of the gate, right around the entry of outside zone number 1, he had just a bit too much angle to carry through in these conditions, and you can see some of the carnage that has been reaped on that plot of grass there because of the rainy conditions. So switching things up here, unless Dean needs to call a competition timeout. No, it looks like he is coming back around. Let's finish up the second half of this battle. Matt Field standing with the big advantage here.
All right, as we are about to see, second half of this battle, Dean Kearney will be chasing down Matt Field, Falcon Tires, Drift Cave, Corvette, the Beast from the Bay, will be leading. What do we got? Party time, excellent. Matt Field comes out underneath the Tower of Power. We have these All-American machines coming to that first outside zone. Our second battle of the grade 8. Here goes Matt Field in that second outside zone. Dean Kearney, he needs to throw down a solid chase run, and Matt Field, if he keeps it clean, he could have a victory in advancing on to the Final Four against second in points coming to this round of competition, and Kearney shuts it down. Field does need to continue through the course in order to get the victory overall, just to solidify, and it looks like that will be the case. So unfortunately for Dean Kearney, it stopped raining. That's what happened. It stopped raining, and that was why he lost. His car keeps definitely turning off, so I know he's having some issues. All right, so Dean Kearney, let's go ahead and slide him left for Matt Field, get the victory here. So it'll be Matt Field versus Ryan Turk. And there it is, unanimous. Matt Field versus Ryan Turk in the Type S Final Four, the official lighting of Formula Drift. So they're already in. Let's take a look at it again, Ryan.
Yep, it was a tough battle here for Dean Kearney. I think he had the right mindset, however. Come out swinging, be aggressive, because he's capable of doing that right there. And even though he makes a little bit of a mistake off of that aggression, I think he had to push the pace against Matt. Matt is on one right now. He's had 2 good events already in the books, with that second place in Orlando, excuse me, that second place in Atlanta, and a grade 8 finish, I believe, in Orlando. Here it is, our next battle lined up, Chris Forsberg versus Kazuya Taguchi. Chris, rocky start to the season, could use a Final Four finish here, and Taguchi's been pretty consistent. He is marching his way into the top 10 right next to Jeff Jones, who's sitting in 8th place right now, 61 points out before we came into the event. Let's get it on.
Yes, sir. Chris Forsberg all the way back there in 15th. So like you said, definitely a rocky start for the 3-time champ. There it is. Turk and Field already in the Final Four. Who's joining them? Forsberg or Taguchi, and then on the final battle of the grade 8, AASBO and Reader. Here is our sight laps. Forsberg coming on in, that NOS Energy Drink Nissan 370Z. Brings it around. So E-Town, this definitely really rad track. Had some dry conditions yesterday, lacking a little bit of lighting, but you can see, look at that patch, Ryan. So see how it's like kind of drier towards the middle, and then once you start going out, it's, you know, there's just spots.
Getting hot tires on there, spinning, it's going to make these little paths where it's going to be a little bit drier.
It's like
when
snow.
The rain isn't coming down. Exactly, it's exactly like that. And unfortunately, if you get off that path, you can slide out. And I think that's what happened to Dean there. In addition to being a appreciatively, you know, very aggressive, and that's what we like to see. But you got to take those risks at this level.
Wow, Kazuya Taguchi sounding bonkers down there. Slip and slide, ticket to the house. As Kazuya Taguchi will lead the Up Garage ISR 86, and Chris Forsberg will be chasing him down. Here we go. Next battle of the Grade 8, Taguchi versus Forsberg. Looks like got a clean start, no cones were hit. Forsberg initiates behind Taguchi into that outside zone.
Whoa, big angle from Chris.
Yeah, massive angle from Chris. Taguchi takes a little bit out of it, going to that second outside zone. Look at how deep Taguchi is. That Up Garage ISR 86. Chris Forsberg pulls out of that outside zone a little bit. Oh man, just barely slipping around, slithering like a snake. Forsberg taking a very shallow line. I'd love to see, we do see the drone up in the sky. Like to see what happens here. Overhead shot.
Sometimes some defensive driving here when you're coming up aggressively needs to take place. Forsberg really angling up there, saving the car, making it look smooth, but Kazuya Taguchi is well into that outside zone. That's where he makes a little flub. He comes off early, has to adjust. And Chris doing a pretty good job here to also modulate the vehicle, not make contact with Taguchi, but falls back there for a second. Taguchi's not able to fill the outside zone till the end as Chris toes up the rear end there. And you can see driver still slipping and sliding. First half of the battle in the books. Now let's switch it up with Kazuya Taguchi going to the lead and Chris Forsberg going to lead and Kazuya Taguchi chasing him down.
All right, let's see who moves on. Like I said, Turk and Field already in. The winner of this battle going against AASBO and Reader. So E-Town delivering some awesome fans. Thank you guys and gals. Those sticking around still waterlogged, but a smile on your face. Here we go. Chris Forsberg comes into that first outside zone. Taguchi right there in that Up Garage ISR 86. The NOS energy drink, Nissan 370. Zia Taguchi. Look at that proximity. Oh, is he banging doors? Tapping that brake light. Chris Forsberg stays in it.
You might have something broken.
A shallower line here from Taguchi. They bring it around that inside clip and now transferring into that final outside zone. See Forsberg filling all of it, and Taguchi, you can see him just firing on it, trying to avoid some contact, keeping that angle going.
Taguchi really going for the gusto here from the onset, pushing hard. And watch this little move right here. Snap. Even though it's on a tighter line, it's very aggressive, and he quickly gets back to the line, but he does make contact with Chris twice, and you can see that did have an effect on Forsberg in the lead. Watch the front wheels there, shaking and moving around after the contact from Taguchi, but good on Chris not to flop out of it. He does push a little bit wide on that inside clip, but brings it back around. And Taguchi firing on all cylinders here, trying to beat a three-time champion and move on into the final four. Really in sync there towards that last outside zone, even though Taguchi was a little bit on the inside.
How we doing out there, hardcore fans sticking around? Thank you guys and gals. Might find yourself up there on the big screen. Can you guys see yourself? You in the green shirt. What's up, man? You got your beanie on? Chilling? Feeling the flow? All right. As we are seeing FREDRIC AASBO with his sight lap and his Rockstar Toyota GR Supra. And here is the side-by-side, Taguchi and Forsberg.
So it's a tough one here. Both drivers had some really aggressive moments. There was also some great bits of defensive driving. There was a little bit of contact from Taguchi. There was that pit maneuver right in on the inside. And I really like what I see here from Kazuya Taguchi. Forsberg got a little bit affected by that contact, but he also made a really nice move on that inside clip in the chase position, not to go in too tight and hit it, but then he comes up a little bit short there on that outside zone on the finish. What's it going to be? Do we have a winner? Is it a one more time? As we see the sight laps coming to an end here for Travis Reeder and FREDRIC AASBO.
Here we go. Slide him left for FORSBERG, right for Taguchi. Looks like one of the judges says FORSBERG and two of them. So Chris FORSBERG gets the win, and it is not unanimous. Lorette Nickel down with Chelsea Denova. What's up? Ryan Lontaine. And here we go. Ryan Turk is gone. So here we go. FREDRIC AASBO, Travis Reeder. Who's going against Chris FORSBERG in the final four? AASBO initiates into that outside zone. Reeder trying to hunt him down. Talking about how well these gentlemen are driving. Oh, and Travis Reeder takes a lot of angle out of it. Almost makes contact with the gold-nosed Toyota Supra. Some wavering back and forth. These guys are kind of chopping it up quite a bit. Reeder goes, oh, that's a big correction there. So as AASBO and Reeder, unfortunately, Reeder in that chase position, having a lot of hiccups there.
Yeah, he gave away a bit too much to a driver like FREDRIC AASBO.
Yeah.
Let's take a look, focusing on Reeder in the chase position here. Kind of came in tight, got a little off balance there. Look at the front wheels kind of starting to wash out. He has to be aggressive against AASBO. We know that. He does a good job coming off the line there to kind of match AASBO, but he comes in a bit too tight. Then he nearly center punches that clip. That almost forces him to go straight in kind of a lazy transition to outside zone 3. And then right here, much better job, but still a little bit tight there. Here's the contact coming from 1 to 2. And he rubs, when he rubs AASBO's tire, that's actually what gets him kind of out of whack there. So AASBO's team, his spotter for sure will call those things out, and AASBO will try to have a better chase run here. The lead run for AASBO was solid. We've seen him be real consistent in that lead position. Really hard to kind of knock him down. You can always expect that it's going to be, you know, a top 5 qualifying lead run, and that does really put him at an advantage a lot of times for the chase driver to kind of match it. And if it's not able to, we know that AASBO has the powers of the chase as well. So here we go, run number 2. Travis Reeder taking the lead.
Here we go, Reeder. He needs a mistake here from FREDRIC AASBO in order to advance on. He needs to put down a solid lead run. He has done it. That's why he's here at this point, here in the grade 8. And Travis Reeder, that
dangerously
BMW,
close.
Yeah, that was a solid initiation here. And now in that second outside zone, AASBO, one of the best in the biz, making it look easy with that Supra. You see the early exit from Reeder, big angle from him.
Almost playing with fire here, AASBO.
Yeah, AASBO really dancing with the devil. Coincidentally, the blood red BMW of Reeder.
You know, he must really trust Reeder a lot.
That's good. That was, or he's just going for it.
Well, you know, some drivers sometimes get concerned that if you make any contact to a lead driver, if they spin out, you know, you kind of have the NBA flop thing going on.
Right.
Obviously, AASBO thinks a lot of Reeder as a driver. To get this close to him, looks like there was a bit of rubbing going on there. Reeder staying in it, and it really gave AASBO an opportunity to kind of come back with an overly aggressive chase, I would say, given what I see to be the advantage in his lead run. But fair play to him. Great job there by FREDRIC AASBO and Travis Reeder in run number 2.
Some hardcore fans, what's up, fellas? Thanks for sticking around. You keeping it real in the feel. Thank you, fellas. That's you. Yep, camera's right over there. Again, some still hardcore fans in the building. Yeah. Thank you, guys and gals, holding it down in E-Town. And hopefully when we come back here next year, we get some dry conditions. We saw some dry conditions yesterday and earlier. Here is a side-by-side from Reeder and AASBO.
What's going on here? For entertainment value, or somebody making a claim right here?
I don't know.
I don't even see the judge. Well, I see one judge looking at the replay, so this is a deep analysis here for one judge. Just wanting to do some verifications.
Just see how sick he got or what?
Yeah.
Dude, call the doctor because he's sick.
Maybe trying to call out something that we completely missed. I don't know.
Oh, man. Yeah, you
there
guys
you
are
go.
just holding it down, Falcon. Solid. You guys look just waterlogged. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. That's the hype right there.
Yeah, for sure. Yo, what's up? Like I said, hardcore fans sticking around here at E-Town. Oh boy, shirt's off. Oh, easy, fella. Oh, lost the shirt. All right. Fresh out of ones, bro. All right, here we go. FREDRIC, AASBO, Travis, Reeder. Slide him left for AASBO, right for Reeder, and there it is. So FREDRIC, AASBO gets the win. It'll be FORSBERG versus AASBO. And then on the other side, the beginning side of the bracket, Ryan Turk versus in the final four. So Ryan Turk will lead that Gumout Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback versus Matt Field, Falcon Tires, Drift Cave Corvette. Send it, fellas, here in E-Town under the Tower of Power. Let's see what we got. The 4-cylinder hot hatch of Ryan Turk. Of course, the V8 Vet. Woo, look at that. As Matt Field making his presence felt there on the door of the Corolla hatchback. Ryan Turk using all of the course
I saw some
all
smoke.
the way out to the line, seeing some smoke. Ryan Sage getting some commentary in here as well. Some nice little quips as Ryan Turk has a wide swing around that front clip, but now brings it into that final outer zone and brings it on home. Ryan.
This is very exciting.
I like it. I like it.
Little smoke coming up. All right. That's cool. Let's start the whole competition over.
Puff. Yeah, right.
Matt Field pushing very hard into that first outside zone. You got to give it up to him there. That was a high-risk maneuver. He's on a little bit of a tighter line, but look at this in outside zone too. He really follows Ryan Turk all the way out there, trying to mirror that angle. Now watch the transition here. Super close, right at the door, but stays back enough and adjusts to not hit that inside clip. And then on the final turn here, again, he angles up, tries to get to that line with Ryan Turk. A great execution by Matt Field in the chase, and it couldn't have happened without an incredible lead run by Ryan Turk. Final four battle halfway through. Who's going to the finals? Is it going to be Ryan Turk, who qualified number 8, or Matt Field, who qualified 13?
And here we go with the second run of this battle. Matt Field will lead the Beast from the Bay. Ryan Turk give it chase. The history here as Ryan Turk was so excited back in the day from 2003 to here to 2021. Matt Field would love to put a stop to that though. Literally rain on his parade as Matt Field transitions hot and heavy into that second outside zone. Matt Field digging deep. Ryan Turk maybe giving him a little too much room, but now you can see him catching up here. Let's see how he handles that front clip. Ryan Turk just tapping it, knocking it over into that final outside zone. Matt Field really gripping up with those Falcon tires and bringing it across the finish line. Ryan Turk coming on down. That is a really hard, good battle. I do not envy the judges at this time.
Well, just looking at how everybody qualified, we can tell that AASBO is going to guarantee himself a podium because of where he qualified.
Yep.
And Ryan Turk, or Matt Field, really needs to get the win here if he wants to capture a first or second place. Did he do enough in the lead position to take out Ryan Turk? Here's where Turk just taps that inside clip, but really it's this last little section here. He kind of angles down for a second, has to make that adjustment. But was there enough there to justify a win for either driver? Matt Field and Ryan Turk have been on point here this weekend, dealing with this track that has been ever-changing for the past 4 hours. And the side-by-side, I hear, is coming up. Here it is. Matt Field on the lead in the left. Turk on the right. Excuse me, on the left for Turk, on the right for Field. Eyes darting back and forth. You can see a little bit of a gap there, but also Field came off that zone a little bit early as well. And surging right there against Ryan Turk was Field, giving that one little push in that last outside zone. This is a tough one, folks.
Look at these guys bundled up here, staying warm. Look at you guys, yeah. Look at that, thanks for coming out. Here we go, Ryan Turk, Matt Field. We got it one more time there. Oh, we're going OMT, baby. Shee! What up, TJ Hunt? Watching back in Santiago. FREDRIC, AASBO will lead. Chris FORSBERG will give chase as they leave the start line. The conditions are drying out just a little bit, so I feel like we will be seeing a little higher speeds here coming to that first outer zone. Wonder if the gearing's going to work out for FREDRIC AASBO as Chris Forsberg takes a shallower line here. FREDRIC goes all the way out to that second outer zone. And now Chris gets that. Look at that, that absolute proximity. And now, ooh, it shallows up, takes out that front clip.
He had to do it.
Yeah, he had to do that. And then goes into that final outer zone. So shallow by Chris Forsberg. And this is a must-win for him. He will not be getting a podium because he is the lowest qualifying driver, 31st.
Eye from above, you can see Forsberg surging there in the chase position, starting out strong, comes through, gets in the pocket here, but a little bit of a tighter line. Now he starts moving back. This is what we like to see right here, keeping it tight. AASBO comes off that zone early, and that causes Forsberg to have to adjust. So AASBO making a mistake there, and then Chris, in order to not center line that thing, had to adjust the car. So we see AASBO coming off of outside zone 2 a little bit early, and then having an effect on the rest of the battle here as Chris tries to make up some ground there on that last outside zone. Really odd occurrence there. It was kind of like he gripped up in that area and pulled out of the zone.
Yeah.
And that may just be because of the way that the conditions are changing.
All right, here we go. Chris Forsberg now out front. FREDRIC, oh, and that will be a restart. That is a restart for Chris Forsberg. Looks like he hit a cone that was obviously not jumped.
Yeah, Ryan Lantain just pointed out to me that he's been seeing quite a few cars when they come into the drag strip surface in that area where there's a lot of tire down.
Talking about outer zone 2.
In outer zone 2, yeah, the cars are gripping up there, and that may just be an artifact of getting drier, the rubber that's been laid down there throughout the weekend. And that may have been why AASBO kind of looked like he surged forward in outside zone 2. So let's see what happens here to Chris in his lead battle. These ever-changing conditions, a challenge for drivers, no matter which way you look at it.
Yeah.
But it is getting faster and quicker. There's a shot right there of the spot that Ryan was talking about right in front of us, Jared, here, bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it goes black, gray, black, gray. All right, here we go. Chris Forsberg will now lead this second run of this top 4 battle. Chris Forsberg comes into that first outer zone. Sending it here into the second outer zone.
Okay, we're going.
FREDRIC AASBO, oh yeah, we're getting some speed, baby. Here we go. So into that second, right here is where he's shooting forward. But they both seem to be handling it here. But like you said, gripping up. And both of them wrapping around that front clip. Look at that.
Oh,
Chris
losing some
Forsberg
ground.
grips away in that final outer zone. But Brian, is that enough? Forsberg definitely had a major mistake there on that front clip and coming in shallow.
Well, let's take a look at this here. Big angle from Chris Forsberg, getting back on the throttle in that outside zone. AASBO surging on the attack here, coming up on the inside. And Forsberg is able to get at the edge of that zone. He doesn't grip up as much, and he kind of stays in that zone a little bit longer. AASBO does as well. So we saw that really weird effect. Oh, AASBO looked like he had a little bit of a flub there from inside the vehicle, or at least it was affecting what was going on with him in the car that caused him to fall back from inside clip 1 to outside zone 3. Fans looking on, trying to figure out which way the judges are going to go here. 3-time champion Chris Forsberg, 2015 champion FREDRIC AASBO battling it out here for the final spot, or one of the final spots that are open here one more time from the sky. This is the chase run once again of FREDRIC AASBO. Judges requesting another look at it. And you can see pretty well done and consistent there from both drivers, but Chris with the lead kind of dictating the pace. And that's where you see AASBO kind of fall back. Gives up a bit of ground to Chris, which is not made up by the end of the run.
How we doing up there? Seeing y'all sticking around. You're cheering for one of these 4 drivers, Ryan Turk, Matt Field, Chris Forsberg, or FREDRIC AASBO. Which way are we going? Are we going to Chris Forsberg or FREDRIC AASBO? Oh, one more time. And it looks like Chris Forsberg gets one of the votes. And oh man, we are a split decision. Is that correct? That is correct. So it is a one more time.
Curfew what?
Yeah, right. That is a one more time between AASBO and Forsberg. It was unanimous on that OMT. So here we go. Ryan Turk will be leading that come out. Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback into that first outside zone. Look at Manfield, the beast of the bay. The drift cave, head caveman going for it right now.
Not playing games.
Yeah, no, we are not playing games at all. This ain't no video game. This is real life, son. As we come into that front clip. Oh, man, look at that massive angle there. And look at that shooting out into that final outer zone. Great composure for both these drivers. I got to tell you, Matt Field really keeping it, holding it down. That was a solid chase run and a great lead run by Ryan Turk.
It's like a great boxing match here. Two titans battling it out, trading blows, trading punches, and giving us a show here as the speeds are picking up. Look at Ryan Turk, how deep he is into that outside zone, but Matt Field not afraid to follow. Makes a slight adjustment there to get right back on the line. And look at this beautiful move right there on the inside. Turk gets held up there for a second. There may have even been some contact there, but both drivers get out of it seemingly unscathed. That'd be great to see from the overhead. But let's get going on this second half of this battle. All right, here we go.
Let's alternate the order here. Matt Field ready to send it out front. Get Ryan Turk, the 4-cylinder turbo nitrous. Critical hatchback. Angled Matt Field. And this supercharged Corvette. Throwing it in the outside zone using all the course. Looks like the course is drying out even more. Look at this gripping up into that second outer zone. Both of them 3/4 of the way deep into the outside zone. Matt Field pulling away. Not leaving the judge's hands, and shoots. Look at that. Matt Field had a lot of speed coming out of zone 2, and that might have just shot him out.
Well, we saw the same thing. We saw the same thing from AASBO, and it looks like it also did something similar to Field, but it really had an effect more so on Turk, at least from what I saw. Let's take a look at this. Watch when they get to the drag strip part of the circuit. Matt Field is on the edge of the course. Now he's going to shoot forward there. But watch Ryan Turk. Look, he's starting to flub here. He's pushing out wide. He washes out. Field was also kind of washing out. Turk was following him, but it looks like Turk was far enough behind to where there was more mistakes made, even though that Field pushed a little bit wide there as well.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like you said, and we're making that observation there outside of that zone 2. Going into that front clip. Here's the side-by-side. BC Racing go for the gold. BC Racing official suspension of Formula Drift.
So once again, let's take a look at this section here on the drag strip. You can see Field on the lead run, pushes out wide. Turk follows him, but Field, as he gets back on the gas, Turk straightens up there. So you do need to follow the lead driver as a moving clipping point. And even though Field made a mistake, Turk kind of followed him out there and wasn't able to kind of hang with him in that area, more or less. Really interested to see how the judges interpret that. But overall, really fun battle here. Who's going to be going to the finals? Ryan Turk or Matt Field, a one-more-time battle to face a winner of Chris Forsberg and FREDRIC AASBO.
Yeah, we still don't have a winner on either side of this Final Four bracket. Who do you guys want? Are you pulling for Ryan Turk? Or are you pulling for Matt Field? Again, where are my Ryan Turk fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Matt Field fans at? Make some noise. Scores are in. Slide them left for Turk, right for Field. Matt Field gets 1 and 2. Matt Field gets the win. Matt Field gets the win. And he is going to the final. So it just, I just got a text. They're like, did it rain all day? I said, no. I mean, we had top 32 driver introduction. And then ever since then, we've had wet until now. So this is the driest it's been in head-to-head competition so far.
Yeah, and with these two Titans here, anything can happen. But we did see kind of some of the areas where there's a variable in the system that could potentially play a role. Now, what have the teams done to adjust for that, change that? It's hard to say, but obviously these two teams, two of the most seasoned in the series.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously with Turk,
there we go,
looking at a possible third place. AASBO looking to get a podium as well. It's a good weekend for Papadakis Racing.
That's right. Here we go. Let's send it. Send it. Here we go. FREDRIC AASBO will lead. Chris Forsberg giving chase. Coming down the chute underneath the tower of power. FREDRIC AASBO goes in that first outside zone. Both these guys gripping up. Put some grip in the car. That is smoke, my friends. Yes, sir. Now to that second outside zone. This is where we saw them gripping up, Ryan. Let's see how they manage. They do have some experience now with these drier conditions. Into that front flip. Both of them wrapping around just as I say that. Chris glances it just a little bit into that third and final outer zone. Chris Forsberg gets in it and then comes out a little bit early. Good proximity from Forsberg. Decent line there from FREDRIC AASBO.
Things are getting a little bit more predictable now, it seems,
Right.
for the drivers. And even with those little puddles there, you can see they're not afraid to kind of push the pace, both in the lead and the chase position. Forsberg gets in the outside zone a little bit later, but he quickly gets on the same line with AASBO. AASBO just flirting with the edge of that outside zone. Forsberg surging forward, just nicks that inside clip. Now moving back around, trying to gain a little bit of proximity to FREDRIC AASBO as they whip through that final section. And a great start here to the one more time.
And here we have Chris Forsberg, FREDRIC AASBO. So Forsberg will now lead. AASBO giving chase. The lights are on. Once they extinguish, it's go time. Send it, fellas. Forsberg now out front. AASBO hunting him down. The NOS Energy Drink Nissan 370Z using all of the course. Looks like AASBO gets to the side of him. Good composure there from FREDRIC AASBO. Could have easily got to the side of that 370Z. And now, oh, wow, getting all of the outside zone. FREDRIC AASBO. Look at Forsberg pulling away from Freddie. The grip is back. The boys are back in town, baby.
Seemed like FREDRIC AASBO lost some pace to Chris on the second half of that run. Big angle initiation from Chris Forsberg. AASBO transitions right behind the bumper, does a great job tucking up on the inside here to get to that line. But as we start leaving this outside zone, Forsberg is on a really quick line here and starts pulling a gap. Look at the smoke being generated. 3-4 car gap, and AASBO's not as much of a factor on the second half of the run after inside clip number 1. And something came off his car as well.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Air filter. So this could be a deciding factor here for the judges.
This is a must-win for Forsberg to podium. If Forsberg goes to the finals, FREDRIC AASBO would get third place.
Oh, there's Vaughn.
And look at Vaughn. What's up, dude? Oh, look at that. Vaughn Ginn Jr. hanging out. Got the whole fam. Got mom and dad and the whole gang. Who's got it? What do you guys think? Who's pulling for FREDRIC AASBO? Who's pulling for Chris Forsberg? And Chris Forsberg gets the win. Chris Forsberg is going to the finals. That means FREDRIC AASBO gets third place. What'd you think, Vaughn? Were you pulling for Chris Forsberg? I would have to assume so. All right, well, Chris Forsberg gets the win. He's going to the finals. What's up? How we doing?
To say that things have come full circle for Chris Forsberg. It would be a massive circle for it to come to be that big, but it certainly is a really important, I think, moment for him already for how far that he's gone here. If he could get the win, it would be even better. But he's going for Matt Field, who is on fire right now.
It would be wetter and better right now for Matt Field as he takes the lead here in his Falcon tires. Drift K, Borla exhaust, Corvette, and Chris Forsberg shuts her down. And looks like Matt Field will continue on through the course. He does need to continue down. Chris Forsberg, a massive correction from him as we send it here. And we are going to see,
That's a mechanical.
Man, that is a mechanical failure here. Oh, what a bummer there for Chris Forsberg.
A bit anticlimactic here at the end. It looks like a mechanical issue for Chris Forsberg. After having buttoned everything up, that's a big disappointment there. Let's take a look at it again and see if we can notice anything in particular. on what happened, and let's also keep our eye on Chris if he goes back to the line or if he calls a competition timeout. Where he's headed does look like back to his own pit. So right here on the transition, he's not able to get the car to power, it looks like. No smoke. Yeah, I've seen some sparks back there. Something not right on the transition background. Looks like he lost power and was not able to finish the run. You can see with Field, he's starting to generate a little bit of smoke right there, but Chris is not able to transition through.
He's during the halftime break, I talked to him about multiple times. He said, you know, between his alternator losing power, his throttle body, he's had multiple throttle body issues. The drive-by-wire has been giving him problems. So he might just switch back to a cable throttle body because it's just been shutting down on him. So there he goes. He's going back to the pits. So 11:21 on the dial. Competition timeout is a 5-minute allotment as you see him jump back into his pits, and that'll be a 5-minute allotment for him. All right, so as we are finding out that he's just not, so the NGK competition timeout from Chris Forsberg. NGK, do spark plugs timeout? They sure do, and timely spark plug replacement not only prevents fouling, provides the best engine performance, it ensures less repair time and can save you money on unnecessary repairs. Visit ngksparkplugs.com to learn more about OE suggested spark plug intervals and find the best plug for your engines. NGK, the ignition specialist. So you can see a variety of vehicles there in Chris Forsberg's pit, from the Ultimaniac, his old school FCRX7, his party car. The Pro Down, Bro Down will be going down here tomorrow. So as, again, we here at E-Town making some history. As I said, it would be epic if Chris won here. Like you said, one massive circle, Ryan. But just where it all kind of started for these East Coast drifters, including that of Chris, Vaughn, Turk, Tony Angelo, and you know, again, Matt Petty and the whole Club Loose gang. But yeah, just an exciting event, changing out batteries, seeing what's going on.
Yeah, he is facing an uphill climb at the moment with Matt Field finishing that run and Chris with an incomplete. Let's go down to Lorette Nickel to give us a little bit of insight to what's going on with car 64.
Thank you, guys. The clock is running at 4:12 right now. Chris Forsberg, what is going on?
Oh, that thing I just told you about with our alternator taking out the throttle body is pretty much what happened again. I was going down the straight, everything felt good, flicked in, I was right on Matt's door, exactly where I wanted to be. Dumped on the power, and there wasn't enough voltage, and the throttle body snapped shut. Tried to drive back into the course to, you know, it was still a 0, but try and get something out of it. And then it snapped shut again. You know, the voltage was at like 11. So we're throwing a new battery in it, and we'll see if it's got enough to get a run.
Okay, and is 5 minutes enough time?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lorette. And unfortunate turn of events there for Forsberg. They'll button up that trunk and get it going. So right now, a massive advantage here for Matt Field.
Yeah, and you were talking about silver linings earlier in the event. I guess in some sense it's a silver lining that it happened now, but it's also a negative that it happened now.
Right.
If it happened earlier in the event, he may have gone out earlier. But this has been something that his team has had to deal with this season, having a few mechanical gremlins. It looks like he's on his way back out. He will have that incomplete, Jared, and that does put Matt Field in a very advantageous position here to take home his first win of the year. And we have to remember, harkening back to Road Atlanta, Matt Field seemingly was the guy that looked like he was going to win the event. And it was only till Odie made contact with him and they brought the car back out that the vehicle was not as mechanically sound as they would have liked. So there is a bit of a storyline developing here of Matt Field being a real contender. Now, we've always thought that. He's won events before, but now he's really solidifying himself, asserting himself as a legitimate leader here against these veterans and newcomers in the sport. So as Chris Forsberg heads back, Matt Field is literally one half of a battle away from capturing a win here at E-Town.
So Matt Field waits on the line, and there we go. So Chris Forsberg. What's going on here? Looks like he's just scrubbing some tires real quick. Finishing out And he'll pull around, scrub him.
Gonna make my own location.
Just gonna do my thing. Communique. He's going to the burnout box. All right, looks like Matt Field will be making it over to the burnout box and just quickly circling around. So Chris Forsberg will lead. Hey, everybody here at E-Town, if you could pull out your phones and turn on your lights. Larry Chen wants to grab a photo, so pull out your phone, turn on your lights. Let's light this place up with the remaining fans here at E-Town, the Tower of Power. And here we go. Oh, man. And it looks like Forsberg is unfortunately calling this run, but go ahead and keep those lights out because it looks like Matt Field will be making a celebratory bye run, as looks like Forsberg is calling it. And here it is, Matt Field with a victory lap. Forsberg is calling it, so keep those lights out. Larry Chen grabbing the photo. Matt Field, what we thought was going to be all him. Just a few rounds ago, and here he is, Matt Field, a victory lap for the Falcon Tire Drift Cave Corvette, the Beast of the Bay 777, your winner here at E-Town, the debut of the purpose-built Drift Coliseum here at Englishtown Raceway Park. Matt Field gets the victory as Chris Forsberg retires and the Falcon Tire smoke gets created. Ryan.
Yeah, Mr. Appropriate Confidence coming through again. Doing well based on preparation. Matt Field, your winner here at Englishtown Raceway. Unfortunately for Chris, was not able to get the car to the line for the second run. He will get that second place, though, much needed as he tries to rack up points for what could potentially be a fourth championship, but does have some work to do, some gremlins to work out, and let's not forget that FREDRIC AASBO also capturing a podium here tonight.
That is right. AASBO grabs third place. Chris Forsberg there in second, and just so close. And of course, Matt Field getting that #1 spot. So congratulations to him and his team. He knows he was definitely in the hunt. It's been a long, treacherous day. Very exciting. A lot of drifting. I mean, from a abrupt ending last night to continuing qualifying today, and now going into a top 31 in Pro Spec. And here we are with our top 32 here, our third round of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Matt Field comes out on top, and it looks like pulling them on out. Not seeing the Toyota Supra, but we definitely know that he grabbed third place. So there it is. You can see Chris Forsberg grabbing the door, congratulating him. There you go, bro. Little bro hug between the #1 and 2.
I know we were both fucking on it. Yeah. It would have been sick. Oh. Yeah. Where did your car shut down? Right here. Oh. We dipped in, we're right with you, and as soon as I went
all right, let's throw down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette.
Thank you, Jared. Chris Forsberg and Matt Field obviously having a conversation.
Yeah, that would have been terrible.
And Chris, pardon me. Hey, you should be so proud of your effort. Congratulations on your second place finish. And Matt Field, the man right here that's been waiting for that win, second place in Atlanta. Matt Field, a crazy night, unpredictable. But, I mean, how did you find balance tonight?
Yeah, it's difficult to understand how anybody found any kind of balance on such a weird track with the conditions the way they were. But I learned one thing. You don't lift right here. See this, the drag strip? If you don't lift, you'll do all right. And I didn't lift, and I guess we did all right.
Were you constantly making adjustments to your driving tonight due to the changing conditions, or was there a plan that you stuck to?
After our top 32 battle, we had a plan with Odie, and from that plan, it worked. So then I was like, okay, that works, just do that. As the track was changing a little bit, we thought about changing the car, but instead we just said, do what you need to do. Watch the runs. My spotter, Daniel Chow, was telling me what was going on with a couple of the sections, and I just trusted him. He said, there's grip there? Okay. If there's no grip there? Okay. So it worked. This is the first win in the Corvette, so that's huge. Huge for us. Yeah, it's been a while.
Can you even put what that means to you into words?
It's about time.
Congratulations to Matt Field and his first win in this Corvette. Congratulations, Matt. Guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lorette Nickel, and that means we can officially congratulate third place here at round 3 of the Formula Jet Pro Championship. He brought out his Rockstar Supra. Third